Here I am a decade. If you don't see me, it's because you don't want to. There's something you're avoiding. Today, we're disclosing the beginning of that. And everyone, as we go into Satya Yuga, there's not a 25 or 100 billion year more time for a Kali Yuga. No. What the Mayans did when they left is the Mayans wrote the calendar from the point that Krishna told them to write the calendar. So they created this calendar that only exists with approximately 5,000 years to account basically their prison sentence. How long they would have to wait for the learned wisdom to return. And this is it. It's us. It's not me. If I go right now, it will transmute to others still, and it will keep coming out. There's other people like the guy who I'm going to show you who discovered Atlantis, right? Or not discovered, rediscovered, but he's just instrumental in bringing that. His 600,000 YouTube subscribers. You could be very instrumental in things changing. So I just wanted to let people know just from the heart, though, because I see the conflicts. This is about coming together. This is about us all agreeing on something so that we can move on. Once we recognize the integers that are happening here, remember, you have like the OTO and the Golden Dawn. Some have went deep into darkness trying to find the light and are trapped in there. I've seen beautiful people a part of organizations where there is no bottom to that chamber. And remember, California as a word, which gives us Kali, is the place where the sun sets. So if you need to keep connecting things with etymology, you would understand, of course, if they wanted to bring some distorted form of darkness, they would set up their stronghold in a place that means a vault of darkness, which is what California means. Now, are we saying something is bad about darkness? No, not when it's perfect black in innocence, which is ignorance to the facts. But then when you premeditate, which is what Hollywood is, that's why Eliezer was so instrumental in setting up Hollywood. Houdini set up his magician society in New York. These are all the same people in Nucleus. And I'll tell you, if I leave this world, it will only be when everyone comes to know this truth and returns to themselves. Now, all of these people, we're just getting all of us an opportunity here. Truth, when it comes through, it's not going to be something that is going to be able to be stopped. And these are the first mains, if you may. They say, like Jay Electronica says, to be a great main. What is a main? A main is a night horse. That's just where the term nightmare came from, but it was against darkness and distortion. It was hell on them, meaning that there were guardians stationed around the temples using martial arts, which is yoga and meditation, to defend the mind, to defend the kingdom within the temple, and then to perfect oneself and to go and assist others in doing the same thing. That is what we embody. That is what it is to be a part of what this is about here. But the interesting thing is that you are already. So I would tell some of those teachers, especially the ones in the chat, if you were here as a teacher, then maybe you sit down and get taught for a minute. I would love to sit down and get taught. I sign up every time I can to get taught. My range is all into other categories now. Like I said, behavioral science shows you the problem in the chakras because the person's always wearing that problem in their disposition. So if you're not just using it to find out if a person's lying to you or not, which is totally much more easier to tell by other integers, or if they're a good person, whatever that means, if you're using it to actually heal them, you see by their disposition when they learn predatory capabilities, like never closing their eyes. Like Donald Trump never closes his eyes when he blinks. He always leaves it slightly open. That is something you breed back into your DNA. So what I'm saying is the vaults are open of knowledge, but above the door of the temple, it says Nothi Seton, meaning know yourself, not everybody else, not other people's numbers, because what's happening is that many people who are still in this resistance, that's what ohms is, it's resistance. Now, they're still in this resistance by coming up with all of these things. They still have to remember that that is the force that actually creates joules. It creates energy. So our world works, just so you understand how power works, which they got backwards, is that it comes from negative to positive. They still write it backwards. meaning it comes from resistance. And that's what creates power. So at this point, now everything is collected for us. And as we walk up this ladder of lights, as we climb our own spine through the ancient system, like, why do I want another one when I have the original? Through this ancient system, walking up this ladder and find out what this means. These are not people. These are ideals. Many people have tried to be Kali. Many people have tried to be Brahma, etc. But the reality is, this is not about trying. This is about succeeding. And we only do that together. What it shows is like that blown up planet into bits, the Milky Way, that's us. And so now we have opportunity to pull all that back together. Our brother came in and he was just talking about that. He was only talking about just the Milky Way, the galaxy. And he said, man, the explosion and all this stuff. I said, but how do we bring all that back together? And we just sat. We just wanted to actually see if our consciousness could come up with a reality. And I said, well, start using the laws, magnetics, pull it all together. And I said, what does that mean? It's what somebody's got to attract. Somebody's got a light so resplendent that they actually begin to attract all those beings back together. And that's what we are. It's not just one person. It's all of us. So we're going to go ahead and start answering some questions. I just wanted to make sure, especially if we dip off the line and we speed through these questions, as proficient as we can, that maybe I just keep referring back to what I said right now, but you get it. Let's get out of the hypnosis. Stop remote controlling yourself, feeling like if something happens, it's not going to affect you. Get into truth. Just because you've yoked yourself with others that are also taking it from others, also taking from it, examine what web you're actually hanging on in the abyss. And realize that you always have your brothers and sisters. My lesson's always been non-judgment. I'm so proud to be here today to be able to bring a message that covers everybody's story. No ratios. None of this one's a pentagram and this one's no ratios, no geometry. It does not exist where we're from. And just to be able to transmit that purely in this day and time, 2018, it comes across to you and you'll spread it. YouTube will keep sharing it, selling it. I almost said that because they will sell your stuff. Facebook, they'll keep pushing it. Sovereignty 2020. This month, we have an amazing thing rolling out. And you get your notifications. If you get on the site, sign up, check your emails. But this is a really powerful force, and it includes everyone, and we're scaling it up.